Hi guys, this is the Wild Earth Child here with part 2 for Are They Reaching Out and Should You Respond? So this is the Should You Respond portion. I did put this into 2 parts just because I thought I might as well. I don't know. I felt like it deserves its 2 separate entities. If you like it that way, let me know. If you don't, let me know. It's just something I'm trying. But we have 3 piles again. You can choose the same pile you chose in the last video, or you can use your intuition. Maybe it drags you to a different one, you know, different messages come out and everything, so we'll see. But yeah, this is going to be Should You Respond? Alright, pile 1. So, should you respond? We have home, safe haven, and comfort zone. So I think right off the bat, when they do reach out, because I think we already addressed that they would, there is a need to stay in touch with how you feel and what feels right for you. Do they feel like they're in an energy where they deserve your attention in any capacity? Are they coming correctly? Like, if this person comes in apologizing, then maybe. If they come in on the same old player energy, maybe not. We're gonna see though. Alright, so should pile 1 respond if, or should we say when, their person reaches out? I do think you can respond when they reach out, but I think there's a need to be detached in your response. Not to be too emotional or not to be too reactive. Ace of Swords, look at that. Because I do think when they reach out, there's going to be a sense of clarity that you gain from the situation, whether it's through their own words and really trying to correct themselves or make something clear, or if it's their whack energy comes in and you get the clarity that's like, you know what, I've wasted enough time on this, I'm not wasting one more day with this situation, I'm done. So it's going to be different for all of you, so it's hard to really pinpoint specifically. I think it's definitely important to use your own discernment with the situation to make that choice. But I will say, I would say, yeah, I think a conversation will be beneficial here, whether it's, you know, means that you move forward with this person in a positive way or you move on. I do think there will be something really great for the long run will come out of this. I'm going to try to look more into it though. So, should pile 1 respond? What should pile 1 say? How should they show up? Queen of Pentacles. Grounded. Okay, so it's definitely important to stay grounded, especially with that home card as the overall energy. Keep your boundaries. Make sure you say no if, you know, they try to push boundaries or they ask for something that you don't want to give them, whether, you know, that's physical, that's energetic, whatever it is. There is a need to have boundaries here. Wheel of Fortune reverse. Yeah, because this person is in a cycle. You have to break the cycle. So I would say, you know, you don't have to respond. You don't. Like, it's fine either way, really. But I do think you will come out of it with something. I just feel like there's something good that will come out of it, even if, like, not in the moment, because it depends. Like, if your person reaches out and it's in an energy that's, like, overall just not really deserving of your time, and you're fed up and you're over it, there's a positive shift within you that's like, you will finally just reach your highest wherewithal and just call it done. Just be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm ready to move on from this person. I'm over it. This is not doing what it needs to for me. And others of you, that might not be the case. Maybe you'll feel the need to actually respond and have a real conversation with this person and try to hear them out. But I will say, if you respond in a way that sort of is like go with the flow and entertains this person, if you will, it's going to be a repetitive cycle that's not going to stop. But if you respond to them in a Queen of Swords kind of way, the Queen of Cups reverse kind of way, very cold and cut and Queen of Pentacles grounded, centered, understanding the bigger picture here. If you can respond in a way that's like very clear that like your boundaries are up, you're not putting up with nothing. And that doesn't mean like be vicious or anything like that, but there's a need to definitely not humor like any possible immature behavior or anything like that. Really like come at them very matter of fact, I feel like. No, I think being in an emotional state is not the time to respond. It has to be when you're like straight, cold, cut, clear on what your boundaries are, what you want, all of this, and make it clear to this person. And if that's them, then that's them. If it's something they're willing to grow into, then that's great. But if it's not, then it's time to pack our bags and find someone who is so much better. So I do think for a lot of you it's gonna be different stuff, but there's definitely a need to like sort of like end the cycle, if you will, as far as the way letting this person communicate the way they do and entertaining it and just like putting up with it, I think it's not going to do any good here. There's a need to be very straightforward. Honestly, very detached, I think is the best choice. Like, you don't need to, like, if they want to give you a sob story of some sort or whatever, don't even buy into it, really. Make it very clear where you stand and what you desire and what you want. And again, if they can meet you at your level, because it's no more meeting them where they are, because we're above here. I could see it. We're above where they're at. If they can't meet us here, they're not going to meet us. We're not coming down here. No more of that, because I see that's a cycle that happens here. So yes, I would respond, but I would respond differently, non-emotional and grounded in a different tone, and something that's like, this communication has to be different. No more entertaining it. No more entertaining the toxicity, the immaturity, whatever it might be for you. There's a reason. There's a need to come at this straight on the nose. No, I don't want go with the flow here. It's all up to you. It's all, your choice. But that's how I'm seeing it, is we have to be super direct, straight up. And even if it's, something that might hurt their feelings, not necessarily like mean or rude, but just honest and painfully honest, maybe. Blunt. It's, it might be the case for you where you have to be like a little bit straight up and blunt, and they might not like it, and that's not your problem. So, I'll pull advice cards from the last deck we used from the last reading. So your advice is, don't let your past hold you back. Yeah. See that? Do not come in the same energy. Do not meet them where they're at. Prosperity lies ahead. So as long as you hold true to yourself, things are going to be fine. Whether this person's in your life or they're not, it's all going to work out and it's all meant, there's a need to, like, just not, you don't need to control it. The universe has your back, as long as you let the universe know what you want. And I think that's the thing here, is you have to figure that out first, after this whole, next time you speak to them. Conclusions are within reach. It's time to take action. Yeah, so, yeah. There's a need for those boundaries to be set. There's a need to make a choice, really, about, do I want to continue this, or do I want to find someone way better? So that was your reading, pile 1. I hope that was helpful for you. If you like the two-parter thing, let me know. It does make the reading shorter, which could be easier for, like, time and whatever. Because, some people can't watch an hour-long reading. It's like, we got stuff to do. But, yeah, I'll see you guys at the next reading. Bye. Alright, pile 2, this is going to be your reading for if you should respond when your person reaches out. So, grounding here and now. So there is a need to be grounded, so that's already sort of similar to pile 1 right off the bat. There's going to be a need to be centered within yourself when this person reaches out. Whoa. Whoa. Don't mind the shuffling. Once again. Okay. Pile 2. Should they respond if their person reaches out? For reverse. Seven of Pentacles. So I do think you can respond, but I would not be impulsive with the response. I would even possibly wait. Like, maybe not respond right away. Perfect reverse. Yeah, because this person might have a tendency to be manipulative. I think I was actually getting that last time too with this pile. Strength. Ow. All right. So I do feel like, yes, you can respond, but I think there's a need to stand on business here. So this is a little similar to pile 1 for sure. There is a need to be pretty direct and maybe even a little bit detached and cold when you respond. There's a need to respond from a grounded, more logical place, more direct place, clear communication, very honest. I think there's a need for you to, like, finally lay it out, be honest with this person, one way or the other, however you want to go about it. But it just feels like this person has been non-committal and maybe a little manipulative, maybe even a little bit of a liar, possibly immature, maybe a little bit fleeting, like flighty, in and out. And I think there's a need for you to stand on business for real, like yeah, I think there's a need to be very direct with this person, very blunt about how you feel about the situation, one way or the other, whether it's, it's even if you want to acknowledge the good parts of it or whatever. I think there's a need to acknowledge, like, the things that you haven't liked in this situation, the things that aren't serving you, the things that you want in a person that they don't have or have not presented thus far. Let's see what else. Whoa. Yeah. So you could tell them, like, possibly that, you know, you've spent a lot of time with this situation, wondering if something was ever going to happen, wanting something to happen, whatever way it goes. And nothing ever came of it that was worth your time, so maybe it's time to move on. New beginnings. I do feel like whoever's watching this, you might already feel like you're already there. Like, I'm at my wit's end. If this person can't show up for me the way I need them to, then I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And I think there's a need to just sort of close the chapter, I think. For those of you where you do feel like that, which I think is most of you. If not all, really. But in maybe a different situation, I could see... hold on. I just... I don't know why I'm getting like a third party possible situation. Maybe you have another option already, or maybe this person has been like non-committal because they have something else going on, which doesn't necessarily have to be another person, but it just seems like something has been in the way of the situation, and you're really the one that's like losing here as far as like your time, really, and your effort, because it just feels like, and I mean thus far, but like, it just, because it feels like in your energy, I feel like time is being wasted, like nothing's coming of this, we're just like going around in circles, and I'm over it. Like, that's the vibe. But I do think that there is a need to move on from this situation for most of you. Let me see. Hold on. Cups reverse, yeah. There is a need to be detached, but this person also could have been very detached and not very emotional, or not very in touch with your emotions and possible needs. Temperance, healing, Two of Wands. Yeah, there's a need for healing here. So I do think that it is necessary to tell this person, like, set your boundary where it's like, I can't deal with the way you have been, and I need to move on. And what they do with that will show you how much they actually cared about this situation. So if they end up, you know, pulling up it, because I feel like it's going to be different for everybody, again. I feel like if they end up, like, you know, taking what you say to heart, or even to mind in the least, and sort of turning around and really trying to make things different, even, you know, and that takes time, like, after, you know, maybe some separation further, if you see this person trying to actually make changes, then maybe, you know, maybe it'll be worth keeping it around, but in the meantime, like, worry about you, heal from the situation, heal from maybe any possible other stuff you have had go on. But I do think that there's a need to tell this person, and I don't want to make it like an ultimatum or anything, but it just feels like you're at your wit's end, and you're at the point where it's like, I need to lay it out how it is, and how I felt, and the way this person has made me feel, and blah, blah, blah. And basically tell them, like, I'm done. I can't, if this is the way you're going to be, I'm done with this. I need to find someone better. And even if you say it that way, you know, some people need it like that, you know? Some people need it, they need their feelings hurt a little to really get it together. And I think how this person ends up showing up is how you will move further. But I don't think you should hang on to this person, or the idea of this person, or the potential of this person. I think you should keep your options open. And, you know, let them expose who they are, you know? Give people, there's a saying that says, give people enough rope to hang themselves. And that's a little dark, but there's real truth to it, you know? You give someone enough space and time, they'll show you who they are. They will. And that's only up to them. So, yeah, you can respond. I would just make it clear that, like, you're done with whatever's gone on here and you need to move on if this is how we're going to continue. And if they respond to that, in a way that's like, all right, I can change, blah, 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 whatever. But you have to see the change, not just let them tell you that. Or if they respond with I get it, I know. Or even worse, which is like defensive and like blah blah and whatever, trying to fight with you about it, trying to act some type of way, then there's your answer. Like, we need to move on, and this is not it. I'm gonna pull some advice cards lastly here from the last reading. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Yet, I'm telling you, this is going to be pivotal. One way or the other, whether it's with this person or it's without. This conversation will be very important. What do you need to release? Yes. Healing. Look at the bigger picture. Don't let your past hold you back. Totally. I agree. I agree, Spirit. Oh, and then just a new start is coming, so, that was poking there real quick. But, okay, pile 2, that is your 2 parts to Are They Reaching Out and Should You Respond? I will see you in the next reading, which will be out in probably a few days. And that's it, bye! Alright, pile 3, the last of the crew. This is going to be your reading, your second part reading to, are they going to reach out and should you respond? We have abundance, state of plenty. So, there could be a need to really, focus on you in the meantime. Possibly. Don't mind that noise outside. Abundance, state of plenty. So, I think there is definitely a need to understand that, like, you are whole within you. You don't need anybody to fulfill you, especially someone who's not showing up the way they should, right? So, we're gonna see. But, should you respond if they reach out? Whoa. 10 of Swords reverse. Justice. Oh, it's a lot of nature sounds outside, guys. Sorry. Or you're welcome. I don't know. One way or the other. But, okay. Wow, okay, this situation might have been pretty chaotic for you guys. Because there's a lot of chaos outside right now. Right as I'm doing your guys' reading. But I don't even know if you guys can hear that, but it's crazy. It's a lot going on. But, okay. Here we go. Should you respond if they reach out? Okay. Okay. So, I think it's going to be different for everybody. Some of you may be a no. Some of you may be a yes. And I only say that because I feel like for some of you, I might end up getting flagged for these cards, but you know what? Whatever, dude. I feel like some of you, in your situation, there is going to be a need to resist. Because I feel like this person might try to come, well, I mean, put it that way, but they might try to come in with, like, a passionate energy. And sort of not very serious, not very, like, acknowledging, with, like, no real acknowledgement of, like, things they've done, things that have happened, their feelings, your feelings. So I feel like for some of you, it's like, it might be so, like, not even a little bit different, not even trying to act like they're trying to make up for something, and it's like blatantly like, nope, I'm not even answering that. I'm gonna worry about my abundance and what I want to do and my endeavors and possible career moves or whatever it might be, and they can F off. For some of you, though, otherwise, I do think there's a need to say your piece. You know, tell this person exactly what you think, exactly what you want, whether that's them or it's not, and make that clear. Or even make it clear that, like, you don't really know that you want them. I just feel like there's a need to really say the things that you have not said thus far. And just sort of lay it out on the table when they come in. And make it very clear where you stand and what you want and what that means for them or not. And because I feel like some of you are going to be, like, mixed and back and forth and not really, like, it feels like there's a pull within you of, like, should I just, like, give in to all, like, my desires that I have with this situation, or should I stand on business? I say stand on business, and I feel like I've had to tell every pile that today, so you guys might resonate with all of the piles, but I just feel like there's a need to be super honest. Sorry if you see me swaying a lot. I'm, like, trying to get my downloads, but there's a need to respond honestly, but I sort of think you want to be the one that's in quote-unquote control in this conversation, and, like, don't let them get away with trying to lead the conversation a certain way. I think you should stand on getting your piece said, getting what you need out, and making it clear that things that they've done have not been right, or in the very least, they have not given you what you need, and you're ready to move on. And I would at least tell them, like, this isn't doing it for me. I can't do this back and forth with you anymore. I can't go in these cycles. I can't let you give me what you've been giving me because it's not enough. Basically put it that way, Yeah, hold on, let me pull some more. You could be honest and tell them, like, I thought I saw this going somewhere, but it hasn't gone somewhere, and however long it's been, whatever that means for you. Even if it's been 2 months, like, just make it clear, But, let's see. You can make it clear that, like, you thought you saw a relationship possibility here. You thought that this was going somewhere. Maybe this person even told you at some point that this was going to go somewhere, that they wanted to be in a commitment with you, whatever it might be. And that ended up not happening for whatever reason. You had to walk away, they walked away, whatever it is. I think there's a need to just be so honest about it. Like, honest about, like, how they've made you feel, the things that has happened here that you're not okay with, and make it clear whether you feel that they are going to be able to give you what you need. Whether you feel that they deserve any more of, you know, your attention, really. I mean, like, you know, put it as blunt as you want. Don't be cruel and cold, because, you know, you're not going to be met with the best response there. But I do think, be honest. Even if it's blunt and it's, you know, maybe not something they want to hear, I think it's very important to do for this situation. Just make it very clear what it is you want, and whether they, you know, are that or aren't, or have been or have not. So, I'm gonna grab the advice cards from the last reading that we had. A new start is coming. So, regardless of what happens here, whether this person wants to buck up and get it together, or they can't, something new is coming. Believe in the impossible. And then expect powerful change, which was actually the card of pile 2's reading in the last one. So, yeah, I do feel like this is going to be a pivotal conversation that you guys have, one way or the other. And I do think things are going to be changing for the better here, you know. Whatever way it goes, I do think this is going to be so important for you. And really, I think there will be really good results here. Even if that means, you know, we move on to a real man, a real prince, a real, you know, woman, whoever it might be. And that is your reading, pile 3. I hope you guys enjoyed these readings. I did want to do the, you know, the two-parter thing, just to see if if it seems better. You know, the readings could be a little shorter that way. And I know that, you know, we only have so much time to be watching, like, 30 to hour-long readings or whatever. But let me know if you like the two-parter, if you don't, and I'll see you guys probably in a few days, okay? So, that's it. Bye.